our moderator for the evening. And as a scientist myself, I am super excited to introduce him to the stage. He is the director of the Hayden Planetarium here at the Museum of Natural History since 1996. And let's just get him out here, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You just saw. He is the creative director of Exhibit A Pictures, Alexandre Philippe. And following that hour and 36-minute intro that you guys just watched, I am not going to say much more than please help me wish him a very, very happy 93rd birthday this week. And welcome to the stage. A warm welcome, please, to Mr. William Shatner.
Thank you so much. Just before you went on stage, Neil deGrasse Tyson handed me the little, auricular. So you got to know somebody who does public speaking a lot. They carry around these candies to make sure their voice is okay.
You were getting all choked up on the side there, so I just wanted to make sure.
When your credits came on, I was just.
So before I begin with you guys, I just want to say that you and I have corresponded over the years. I've been on your show, you've been on my show, and at no time did you say to me, you can call me Bill. So you're still Mr. Shatner to me until that moment occurs.
Call me Mr. Shatner. Yeah, Neil, I can call you Neil, you should call me Bill.
Yeah, thank you.
And Alexandre O, Philippe. We're going to call him.
You can call me Alex.
Alex? Okay.
We call you Alex. So Alex, Bill, you've left nothing to the
Imagination.
I mean, there was no missing bits of what matters to Bill Shatner here, and so I don't even know how to begin to talk about this that hasn't already unfolded in the last 90 minutes. I'll try, but I don't. So a credit to all that has been assembled and put together in that exercise.
It's like being naked, I gotta tell you.
But you were naked in the pool when you saw the lizard. Well, it's not like you ain't been naked before.
Yeah, but I'm in a peculiar position. This film is about me. So now you're gonna ask me, that wonderful moment that you're in, I said, and I have to say, oh yes, I was in that wonderful moment, wasn't I? And it's all about me, I hate it. So how do you talk about a biography and not say, if it's a compliment?
No, I can ask about other things. Really.
Yeah, like,
to your life.
What's the weather gonna be like?
No, I can do better than that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You commented on the launch of the rocket that you felt the G-forces, but I checked on the Blue Origin, it's 2 Gs, which is a little less than an amusement park ride.
You mean there's an amusement park ride that's more than 2 Gs?
Yeah, they take you up to between 2 and 3 Gs.
I'm telling you, this was more than 2 Gs. The person who said it's a little less than 2, they don't know what they're talking because they weren't there.
Okay.
Okay. It was an elephant sitting on my chest. But worse than that is you don't know if the elephant's going to get off. You're thinking, oh my God, I could die. And then suddenly the elephant's gone, but you don't know what's going to happen. Why does that puzzle you?
No, it was going to come back. So you did know it wasn't going to keep sitting.
No, I didn't. No, there was hydrogen in the ship.
Yeah.
You remember the Hindenburg?
Yeah. Yeah. Hydrogen and oxygen are highly explosive together.
Well, hydrogen burns by itself, I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, no, oxygen helps that, but yeah, no, I'm saying, yes, you're sitting on top of a bomb. Yes, that's true.
Exactly my point. So whether it was 2 G's or 7 G's, it was a bomb.
No, one other thing, I was looking at the gantry, and they're just steps up to the capsule.
11 flights. No, they took me there early. I was there a day early. And I thought, why am I here? And they said, oh my God, let's go see the spaceship. So we went out, drove out in a Rivian to the spaceship, and then I'm there looking up there, and they said, well, let's go up there, it's 11 flights. The desert is at 4,000, almost 5,000 feet, like Denver.
So you already don't have as much oxygen.
Already, I'm out of the Rivian going, just getting out of the car. Then they say, let's go up the gantry.
Wait, isn't this Jeff Bezos' operation? The least he could have done was sprung for an elevator.
Exactly my point.
If you don't put a 90-year-old man up in
92. And then I had to walk up 11 flights at 4,000 feet. Okay? And I'm wondering, why have they got me here? Then I suddenly realized, of course, they're checking out the old guy. It's not going to go unless he gets a heart attack.
Yeah, but what they don't know is at a given age, you don't have all that many of those left.
Those being heart attack?
11 flights up.
No,
Yeah.
you have really one. And
Yeah.
I used it up getting up there. Are you enjoying this?
Front row seat, yeah.
So I gotta ask you a couple of things, if I may. That was quite the retrospective with the clips of the TV shows you were in, the movies you were in. You were in
Everything.
at least a dozen movies by the count of the credits there, and also you were in 2 TV series that each went 5 years. A dozen movies.
Actually more.
More,
Yeah.
okay? Whereas Star Trek lasted 3 seasons.
I know.
This is this is a remarkable reality that you're primarily remembered for the least of your accomplishments that whole time.
That's been my fate all my life.
But I think of it differently. I think, especially those years, there were seeds planted, there were taproots sent deep into our public consciousness. Think of it even as a firmware upgrade in our expectations for our future in space. So with or without Star Trek, when we landed on the moon, we were feeling it from having been taking us up right to the doorstep of the moon.
God, Neil, I don't know what you've just said. It sounded fantastic. And those gestures, how dramatic.
What do you mean like Laurence Olivier?
What did you say?
I think maybe we're talking about the zeitgeist. It was in the air, right?
Yeah.
You got a question?
No. So I would say
Yes.
that in whatever was that nadir in your life you spoke of,
Nadir,
yeah, that was the word you used in the van. In the flatbed. I see that. I agree with you that in fact the soil was tilled for all future. Well, okay. I'll be less poetic. Okay, you're poetic reading to the orchestra. You're poetic. Every sentence that came out of your mouth
It's poetry. It's just that I've got a sore arm and I can't make well, I can if I hold it. Yes, it was poetry. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So I don't want you to undervalue the criticality of those years leading up to.
I haven't. I thought they were marvelous.
Yes. Because I'm old enough to remember when we landed on the moon, and there's a certain state of the world at the time where there was still the civil rights movement, there was campus unrest, a hot war in Southeast Asia, a cold war in.
That's incredible. You're like the New York Times.
There's a lot of other very important problems in the world that was distracting people, but then there was this glorious adventure that you planted the seed, helped plant the seeds to engage. And
Neil Armstrong had a little bit to do with it, though.
and 10,000 scientists and engineers
That's
behind
right.
that.
That's right.
Indeed.
So you are making a point, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I thought I was.
What exactly is it?
I value, even though Star Trek was canceled in its 3rd season, I value what role it played in the zeitgeist of the nation and the world.
Gotcha.
And another comment, my sister rides horses, and she's the first to comment if you're on a horse in a movie and it's a different horse. She notices that.
Yeah.
So you also made note that there were 4 horses you had.
Well, the horse I rode, well, that was one of the movies, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know, you were 2 people in the movie.
The dark twins. The
Oh, yeah.
dark twin and yeah.
It was more than one movie, whereas
How is it there was so many movies and shows where you play yourself and another version of yourself?
Right, yeah.
but you know,
That's got to be a record.
no, wait a minute. Apropos of that, what is the other part of yourself? What you present to the audience yourself, which is partially you and partially an act, right? Your mask, right?
Sure.
So then now you're asked to play somebody else that's you, that's another part of you. Is that another mask or is that part of the original? I mean, how do you play another person?
Well, you're an actor. I thought that's what you get paid to do. I'm scientific.
You're a director. You directed actors. So you say, all right, this guy is the opposite of you. The actor says, well, what's the opposite of me?
Well, this is why I make documentaries.
That's right. But then, even continuing that theme, in a documentary, and you're interviewing the person, are they presenting who they are, or are they putting on another mask so they look good to your documentary?
Are they presenting a version of themselves that they would
It's
prefer
enhanced.
the public knows?
An enhanced version of your.
Well, you know, when we did, so this was obviously 3 days of interviews, right? And I think each interview session you came as a different person. The chapter on loneliness was like really dark. Like I was not expecting that from you, and completely like threw me off.
Huh.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Is that why
really
you
proud.
acted the way you did? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I think because you know the approach was thematic, right? So each chapter I sort of
Yes.
came in with a different theme in mind,
Yeah.
and so I think each theme kind of triggered something different in you, and so I felt in many ways that I was not talking to a different person, but I was triggering different sides.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? I mean, we all have our different planes of attitude.
Yeah.
But it's us.
Yeah.
The composite is us, right? So you were looking for a composite.
Well, I mean, the whole idea obviously was like, you know, I mean, what fascinates me is that you started acting when you were 6, right?
Yeah.
So that's 87 years of acting career,
That's very good arithmetic.
right? That's, well, I have to be.
Right.
93 minus 6, that's pretty easy arithmetic. Just saying. Just saying.
So,
The older you get, the more difficult it is, I mean.
Okay.
so, you know, I mean, I think this idea that you've been wearing so many masks over the years, the whole idea of the film is like taking off the masks.
So,
you know.
part of a gentleman by the name of Rob Chernow and I writing lyrics for songs that we wrote and that are extant now out there and are going to be out there. We wrote a song called Masks, and how we all carry a different mask with us. For example, Neil, you're outspoken, you have this volume, you have this energy, and of course, highly intelligent. When you go home, do for us when you enter the door?
I say, honey, where's the remote? I gotta chill out. It depends on how intense the day was. But if I go into sort of public mode, my whole family shuts it down. They leave the room.
So,
They don't want any of that.
well, what is public mode?
Public is, I'm an educator, and if I sense that somebody doesn't know something and might want to know it, I go into educator mode.
So you emphasize it for the impact of what you want to know or what you want to get.
Well, there can be some presentational drama in that exercise, yes.
But do you think that other, when you come through the door,
Yeah.
person, and you say to the class, hello, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I'd like to know why water boils. Can you get the same information without being Neil deGrasse? It sounds like,
No, so, clearly, the presentation mode is different for a large audience than it would be for a one-on-one.
okay.
And also, it would be different depending on their age.
But you know-
I'll use different references that an older person might know, and I would never use it for a younger person because they'd look at me like I was clueless.
No, but you have you obviously know it, a way of speaking publicly, and if I had my arm, I would repeat your gestures, which I can't, but you understand. Why is that more emphatic than, well, water boils unbelievably at 212 degrees, and let's find out why.
I don't know that it's different. I wouldn't say it's better. It's different.
Different.
Yeah, that one they got to lean in because you're about to explain the thermodynamics of heating water, and so they're going to lean in and try to get that answer. What I'm saying is, if depending on who asked it, my answer will be shaped to minimize any resistance between the words out of my mouth and the receptors in their brain.
Well, why are you anticipating resistance when they're there to understand why water boils, the thermodynamics of water at 212? I mean, is information imparted through a mask, or can you be yourself and impart information?
I'll tell you, I got an answer for that. You ready?
I asked you.
If I were a professor facing the chalkboard or whatever they're made of today and just giving the answer, then you got to meet me where I am, and that's not being an educator, that's being professor. If I'm an educator and you're on the other side, I'm going to turn around and face you and find out how you best receive and absorb information, and I'm going to find the key to as many people as I can. That's how I'm going to invoke it. But that's not a mask. That's just being educated. I think.
But by the same token, you can be in love with somebody and say, I love you. And you can be the same person who says, down with that inhuman being. I mean, do we act with our masks on? Or are we a creature of our mask?
Here you go.
Or are there the inner side of us?
I got you. Here you go. Ready? I used to dance in my day.
No kidding.
Back in the day.
Like what kind of dance?
One was sort of international Latin ballroom. And then,
Neil.
Some ballet.
Neil.
There's some.
Neil.
Yeah.
Show us what you mean.
The active phrase there was in my day. Okay?
But wait a minute, you can't admit your day is gone.
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, you can, but you're not right. Your day is not gone.
No.
In fact, you're just arriving at your day.
Are you still TJ Hooker?
Well, yes, I am.
All I'm saying is, I'm saying something simple.
No, it's not.
No. If I'm in front of an audience, I can stand behind a podium, or because what does a dancer do? They use their limbs, their body,
Show us.
to help communicate.
There you go.
Every
Your
part.
turnout is wonderful.
Thank you. Every part of how they can express an idea, a thought, and an emotion comes through, and any good actor knows this, through their face, their lips, their body gestures. And I've danced before, so I use my entire body to communicate. If it's just words, that feels so mute compared with...
not to an actor.
Not to a good actor.
Words are the basic means of communication, and you need do nothing else but be a guru. Hello, the meaning of life is a fountain. Hang on.
We'll think that one through in a minute. But
That's part of an old joke where the guy climbs up and through the mountain and gets to the guru, and he says to the guru, "What's the meaning of life?" The guru's looking at the fountain. He says, "My boy, after all the trouble you've been through, let me tell you the meaning of life. The meaning of life is it's a fountain." And the guy says, "I went through the jungle and up the cliffs and down and I hurt myself and I got to work my leg to find out the meaning of life. And you tell me life is a fountain?" And the guru looks up and says, "You mean life isn't a fountain?"
Okay, so in that vein, Mr. Shatner, in that vein, maybe others knew this well, but this film was not about you, the actor. It was about how every bit of your life has come together to thread a tapestry of wisdom and insight into life and the interactions with each other and your relationship to Earth. So you, in this film, went from Captain Kirk to Bill the philosopher. And
What do you
Well, first I don't dance. Don't ask me to.
think? You don't dance?
I don't dance. What's the question?
The question is, can a person be what themselves are through the various masks?
You still hung up on the mask? I thought we were
No.
I thought so too.
The
That's
mask.
why I asked what the
we were
question
on to
was,
you,
but
a
I-
It's a
philosopher.
different aspect of your personality. Don't be so literal. The mask is, hello, I'm glad to see you.
Okay, no,
Do you believe that guy?
Wait, let me deliteralize this. These chapters of this film are not different masks. They're aspects of what is genuinely you.
That's
Because
what I'm at.
if it was a mask, you take it off and it's sitting over there and it is no longer you. These are elements of you which came together brilliantly. So that I don't think of you as Captain Kirk anymore. I think of you as this man has done some living and has reflected on the meaning of life in ways that we can all benefit. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, I'm certainly not going to fight that. I want to
Neither am I.
know you, Alice. Tell us what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the goal was to somehow get to that kind of, distillation of who you are and what really means the most to you at this point in time, and what you want to communicate to all of us.
So my question is, can you ever really get to who you really are? Does anybody?
No.
When there's this phrase, you got to get to know yourself. Can anybody really get to know themselves?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Not completely.
Well, I mean, do you tell yourself the truth about how you really feel?
I mean, I think it's.
See,
I
that's what
try
I
sometimes.
Ideally,
but
you should be able to.
Truly, answer the two of you. And let me stay out of this because you've seen enough of me. Can you truly ever be like the phrase "getting to know yourself"? Can you ever really get to know yourself?
I don't think so. I think.
So let's rephrase that.
We keep it that way.
We should live life in such a way so that we continue to know ourselves better. Whether or not we actually...
You're mitigating the point. Can you ever really know yourself? Can you ever really know yourself?
Well,
Know thyself is a Greek thing, aphorism.
Well, how can we know ourselves if we don't really know much about the universe in a way, right?
Well, what has that got to do with yourself?
Well, we're a part of it though, right?
Well, I know, but you don't know why the stars collide. But you
Yes, we
know
do, actually. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on.
It was worth the laugh. Oh, seriously, guys. Can you ever really get to know yourself, really empathically know yourself?
I think you can have a pretty good sense of yourself, but I think that's about.
I'd like to add to this that if you remain curious your whole life, as you have appealed people to do in this film, then who you are and your perspective on the world continually evolves. So you can.
My point, exactly, you're evolving.
At any moment you declare you know yourself, well, that kind of closes shop, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean,
so we agree.
No, we don't.
Just, I'm gonna pause here. Did you guys get the QR code here? If you don't know what that is, ask the person half your age next to you. And then they will. Okay.
What was that?
So Bill.
Did you see somebody walk by? I thought
Yeah. Yeah, I got this. Questions
What?
from the audience.
Oh,
They were QR coded in from this huge.
we can't see it.
You could turn your head around.
No, I can't.
What happened?
92 and arthritis, you know what I mean?
Oh, now you're complaining you're old. Not 10 minutes ago when you're
No,
ready to
well,
do-
I'm older now.
Okay. But just before I get here, this arm injury, you fell off a horse?
Well, I did fall off a horse more than once, but I've got a frozen shoulder.
Oh.
And my life is a series of interesting coincidences. So while the film was playing, we sat around in a circle and talked with some of the people who wanted to talk. And the gentleman who sat beside me was a doctor. And I said, I've got a frozen shoulder. He said, well, we can make big advances in cold shoulder and shoulders that are a frozen shoulder. I said, can you help me? He says, I can help you. So I'm sitting beside a guy who might be able to help me get out of this frozen shoulder. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So our lives are a series of coincidences.
Yes, they
One
are.
of the most valuable coincidences of my life is meeting you.
Oh, well, thank you.
That was said to warm you up.
Oh. Here we are. I love this one. Ben H., wherever Ben H. is out there. If you couldn't have been an actor, what do you think you would have been in life?
I don't know.
Might you have played football? Was that a football photo of?
Well, I
Some athletic team.
I wasn't big enough to play football, or fast enough, or strong enough, or had the brains. Otherwise, I would have been a great footballer. I don't know. Teacher, adventure, maybe.
Would you have been a comedian?
Or it could have been. No. What
You had deep
I would
insights. Being
love
funny.
I would love to do documentaries, and I have done, and film documentaries. The exploration of the truth.
Yes.
Is a fascinating.
What was the name of your show? The Truth is Out There or something?
I don't understand.
Unexplained.
The Unexplained is out there
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But I had a talk show called The I Don't Understand, Everything I Don't Understand,
No.
which is everything. Like I don't understand.
No, I think I was on. That's the show I was on. You came to me to ask me stuff that you didn't understand.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you explained it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot.
But I did it with full body gestures.
You did.
Yeah, no, okay. So did you give me an answer or not?
Probably. Yes.
Okay,
I would
here's-
have been a documentary maker.
Here's one. Lori Usher in the audience. Oh, excuse me. Okay.
You
It
didn't
says
bring,
Usher here, but I trust you.
you didn't bring your glasses.
No, I'm reading this correct.
Oh,
I also did bring my glasses. You're a great accumulator of wisdom, which
Oh, yeah.
clearly this film demonstrates. What do you wish you might have known earlier in life rather than later?
what I've learned is what everybody who gets older learns. It's over so quickly. Like what happened? I'm out of the womb, and then, okay, I'm like that girl, okay, I've got children, and now I'm gonna die.
The four stages.
7 ages of...
Yeah, 4 stages of life there, yeah.
Well, there's 4 and then there's 7.
But you only mentioned 4, I think. I counted.
I'm abbreviating it because we gotta get on with it.
All right. All right, someone is a cheap one here, but we'll do it anyway. Tracy Benassis, can you say Danny Crane the way you would on Boston League?
All right, so people come up to me and say, yeah, say Danny Crane. No, I'm not gonna say Danny Crane. But for the audience, I will. And I'll explain what I was doing. So David E. Kelly was the producer-writer of Boston Legal. And he wrote just about every script. He's a genius. So one day, I'm reading the script, and he has the characters say Danny Crane 4 or 5 times. Well, an actor reads it. Danny Crane, Danny Crane, Danny Crane, Danny Crane, Danny Crane. What do you do with that? How do I act that? What he was... And then I had a recollection of a lizard.
Yeah, you described that in the film.
Okay, so the lizard, that's brilliant. The lizard sticks its tongue out, brilliant, and senses what's out there. What's out there? What's the So if I say Danny Crane, Danny Crane,
You're taking the temperature of the room.
I'm taking a reading of the room. When I say my name, Danny Crane. Danny Crane. Okay, so
So that's good.
that's good.
Yeah. So maybe the serpent in the tree in the Bible was just trying to check on what the Garden of Eden was about.
He had an apple in his mouth.
All right. So we got Carrie McGann out there in the audience. Your body of work is beyond impressive.
I know, isn't it?
But what kind of role might you have done, but the opportunity never came your way?
Well, I would love to have worked with some of the auteur directors. And I would love to have, when I was younger, pitted myself into the great roles, which I did at one time in one form or another play, but never. Tyrone Guthrie, he lent his name to the Guthrie thing, and wherever that theater is. He was a great English director, and I worked with him for 3 years, and in fact won an award that had his name attached to it. And he would have been a great director for some of the classics that I could have played. Not now, but I could have played.
You mean Shakespeare when you say classics?
Yeah, Shakespeare. Well, yes, but classics, the translated. But I never did. I played classics, but never the leading role under a guy whose mentality I respected.
I will declare that in 500 years, Star Trek will be remembered and the rest of those stories will have been forgotten. And then, in fact, retrospectively, you would have fulfilled your dream of playing the lead in a classic.
I appreciate it.
No one ever identifies the classic in the moment. It's just something else that people are doing. When it survives the test of time, the classic, the stock in its classics value goes up.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yes.
I think The Intruder, the Roger Corman film, for me is a classic. It's a criminally underseen film. It's one of your finest performances. It's absolutely brilliant. The Intruder.
But the psychology of that film, which is from a novel, was a guy in New York, young guy in New York, decides to go down south and be a rabble rouser and has the towns riot. The film was made when the schools were being integrated, thank you. This total stranger who had no connection with for or against integration came out of New York City and started rabble-rousing and caused riots down south during that turmoil period of time. What in heaven's name was he thinking? What was his psychology? And I tried to understand that.
By the way, to Southerners, if you're from the North, you're a Yankee. If you're from the Northeast, you're a damn Yankee. If you're from New York City, you're a goddamn Yankee. Just thought I'd put that out there.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. Ryan Kawahasha. What gives you hope? This assumes you, in fact, have this hope. What gives you hope for the next generation?
See, that's such a good thought. A small group, Rob Chernow, Dan Miller, and I. Thank you, Rob.
And his parents, too, were there.
Wrote an album, wrote a series of songs that
Just to be clear, for everyone under 30,
No.
an album is a collection of songs are published together.
Oh, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
I live in the past.
Yeah.
But the songs we wrote for a particular album were, some of the songs were about the world and its, its turmoil, is to put it mildly. One of the major songs that we're hoping to make into a music video is, we called it So Fragile, So Blue, and it's about how vulnerable our Earth is. It's what I came back with. I was up in space looking out the window into darkness, and I saw death. I've been fascinated by space and all its awe and mystery.
You think?
I think. And I didn't see it in that blackness I saw from the spaceship. When I looked down on Earth, I saw life. Beige, blue, white, everything. Life on this little rock with this 2-mile skin of usable air. And
Just
so
to
we wrote.
quantify that, our atmosphere is to Earth what the skin of an apple is to an apple.
Right. I was thinking
Sense of how-
onion skin is so narrow. Everything is the amount of dirt, usable soil on this rocky thing we're on is the same way. It's an onion skin. And I saw how vulnerable and how extinction is happening to things. Neil, we're watching things go extinct that we didn't know existed.
Yeah.
So how sad is that?
The question was, what hope do you have?
Well,
I think I read that right. What gives you hope
hold on.
for the next generation?
Hold on.
You're here bumming us out.
No, yeah, but I wouldn't laugh at that because I saw how vulnerable we were, and I came back filled with grief for the earth. But I've been asked, would I go up again? And I've said no, because it was like, trying to have another love affair or whatever. But now I realize if I go up there again, what I will do is I will come back armed with the knowledge of how hard so many of us are trying to make things right. Scientists gathering, huge universities trying to get the carbon dioxide, the methane, the pollutants, the plastics in the earth, in the ocean, how hard we're now trying to make amends. And I would come back with a note of hope.
Sounds like he just wants to go back into space again. This is a cheap question.
It'll get a cheap answer.
Okay. This is from Alan. Is there anything that
You notice he doesn't give us.
right.
What kind of a question will this be?
Yeah.
We're going to ham on every word.
I'll be more dramatic. Is there
You can't be.
Anything that you are not usually asked that you want to share with us.
What's your telephone number? No, I mean, you know, do I scratch my behind? Yes, I do.
That you stop. That was a suitable answer to this question.
Good. Good.
Bill
Do you,
Shatner.
do you want to scratch my behind?
We have just a couple more minutes. I think what we learned this evening is if you lead a life that is eternally curious, no more curious than a child is when you think about it. We're just talking about childhood curiosity carried into adulthood. That leads to a life of learning, and with every new thing learned, there's another possible way you can connect ideas and thoughts and understanding.
I agree, and that's why I love to talk to you. You're so filled with not only curiosity, but you've got so many of the information, you've got so many of the answers.
Yeah, thank you, but I'm saying it's hard to grow your wisdom if you stop learning about the world. And this was evidence that, especially going into space at age 90,
Whatever it was.
whatever it was.
Alexander,
Yes.
talk to us.
What do you want to know?
Something wise.
Oh gosh.
Give us a closing statement.
Oh my gosh. You know, I will just say that it's been really a privilege for me to work on this film with you and to be able to get so much wisdom, you know, from you. But also
But
really...
did you have a perspective on this as a European, different from what we would have had as here in the United
Well,
States?
you know, it's weird. I mean,
Sometimes we take things for granted here, but someone exterior to the dome would say, oh my gosh, look at that national treasure, I have to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's, well, first of all, like growing up in Switzerland, you know, just watching, you know, Star Trek or a lot of Hollywood movies, you know, it's always been a little bit surreal for me to just come here, become an American, and then get to make movies about those films, get to meet you, get to sort of, you know, pick your brain, as it were. But I mean, for me, it's not even really about that. I think in this day and age where there's so much sort of, you know, polarization, so much vitriol, the messages that you have, I mean, and what you were talking about is the philosophy of Bill Shatner is so important. It's so simple and relatable, and I just wish, you know, just the idea of like doing something worthwhile, right, with your life. And it's caring about the planet is one thing, but caring about each other. Like we're here for a very short time, so we should really be trying to make this time really nice for everybody. And so I just want this message in this film to go out there and to really touch people, because you have that ability to do that.
It's the opposite of tribalism. Everybody sees this and they feel unified. And Bill, just one other point I want to make. You, after a while there, you became your own best caricature. So no one could imitate you better than you. So you owned your identity in this world. Not many people get to say that.
Really? That's interesting. No,
I mean, think about that.
I'm thinking about it.
Right? No, people imitate you with your sort of pause, acting, phrasings, and no one does that better than you. I don't need to hear them. Put you back.
I think you're doing me an exaggeration.
I want to give you the final word, and I'll lead up to it with my final word here. Of all the captains, you are my favorite. And I'm not just saying that because you're Jean-Luc Picard and Captain Janeway. But what I liked about you, because again, I was young at the time, I said, you got into fights with the aliens. And if I'm supposed to serve you as captain, and you're fighting the aliens, I'm gonna fight the aliens too. But if you went in the back and told us to go out and fight the aliens, I said, what kind of captain is that? No. So you were there when it mattered. You were seat of the pants, make a decision, forget the logic of Spock. Almost everyone here knows that Captain Kirk always beat Spock at chess, because Spock could only make rational decisions, and Captain Kirk had the capacity to be irrational on a level to defeat logic. And these were properties. I said, if I'm a captain, that's the kind of captain I want to be.
I want to say thank you to Alexandre O, Philippe. What's the
O for?
Olivier.
But here I said Olivier. He put an accent in that, didn't he? Alexandre Olivier.
I would also like to thank you in your brilliance, the brain of yours, which is throbbing to expose itself at every opportunity. You are remarkable.
Never
man.
quite been put that way before.
No, but I hope you'll remember it. You are a remarkable man, and I'm so glad to know you, and I look forward to getting to know you better in the future. And I want to thank all of you for being here, for coming to see this film. I am essentially unhappy.